And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Okay, and an update to fire weather. For today, hot, dry weather has allowed numerous fires to start and spread in many areas of the state with very dry fuels across the interior, continuing to see multiple ignitions due to lightning, and then resources from out of state are assisting with controlling fires. And the outlook is more of the same. So moving on to the hazardous weather outlook here. This is for hazardous fire weather danger here from the Kobuk Valley into the central interior there around Tanana, eastward across Fairbanks, Fort Yukon, all the way to the border and beyond. And that's out for or through Friday evening. And from there, the actual fire danger forecast for Spruce here, extreme now, kind of restricted to the Yukon Flats up here, a little bit to the west there, but not as far west, kind of a reduction right through here from what we had yesterday. And so we're looking at low fire danger through the blue area here, then back to high to very high over the western part of the state here, and then back to low where that front and rain has been keeping it damp and cool along the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta into Bristol Bay. And very high fire danger in the Copper River Basin. And satellite imagery showing remnants of a front here, bringing some mid and high level clouds into the interior today, down across the Kenai Peninsula area and to Kodiak Island. Thunderstorms developing again here east of Fairbanks and in the upper Tanana Valley 40 Mile country there, and northward into the southern Yukon Flats there. Otherwise, a dry day for the southeast coast, North Gulf Coast. Low pressure continuing to weaken here out over the Bering Sea, and that keeping rain and gusty winds in along the southwest coast here, with less wind and precipitation down to the Alaska Peninsula. Kind of showery and breezy over the Aleutians today in Pribilof Islands. You can see this low spinning just north of the Pribilofs, and that'll continue to drift northward and slowly weaken for the next couple of days. Today showing kind of a weak front here with some showers across Bristol Bay, and then the rain continuing here along the southwest coastal area, especially Nunivak Island back to the Pribilofs with the windiest conditions in those areas. Scattered showers, breezy for the Aleutians, generally cloudy skies there. Next system out to the west, and thunderstorms developing here along this trough in the interior with sunny, hot conditions today. Mid to upper 80s, in some cases lower 90s, 92 recorded at 3 p.m. this afternoon at Chalkitsik. And that hot weather all the way up into the North Slope with 80s reported up there. Umiat Airfield, 87 degrees this afternoon. That's 1 degree short of their June record high of 88 degrees that was set back in whenever. Otherwise, cooler South Central Alaska here, 60s to lower 70s. And not bad day over the southeast coast. And for tonight, it'll be partly to mostly cloudy there for the Panhandle, as well as the North Gulf Coast. A lot of low clouds out over the Gulf of Alaska underneath this high center. This low sliding eastward, staying to the south, missing Kodiak Island. And this front still off the coast now, kind of a weak front off the coast. So diminishing winds and slowly diminishing precipitation, becoming lighter and more intermittent throughout the night tonight, extending down to the Pribilofs, and also hooking up with another system down here to the south, that one coming eastward. So that's going to produce a general area of rain from the western Aleutians and start to spread right into the eastern Aleutians. And for tomorrow, should be a little bit heavier on the rainfall for the Fox Islands. That front approaches from the west. And Adak-Atka area right into the Alaska Peninsula will be cloudy, occasionally wet day there, and still some showers or light rain lingering along the southwest coast with this very persistent and slowly weakening low there, now southwest of St. Matthew Island, and thunderstorms developing again over the Brooks Range into the North Slope and possibly all the way back to the western Arctic coast. Also scattered isolated thunderstorms here over the central interior into the Alaska Range, but generally dry here with partly sunny skies, south central Alaska, or it will be dry over south central Alaska with partly sunny skies into the Prince William Sound area after the morning low clouds, and Copper River Basin as well. And you could see a few sun breaks around Kodiak Island, as well as the southeast coast with thunderstorms, or I'm sorry, well, it could be isolated thunderstorms over here toward the eastern border, or showers but most of that action staying off into Canada. And this front spreading rain eastward there into the Queen Charlottes, and then that front actually lifts northward for Saturday, weakens into a trough, so that'll spread some areas of light rain showers and clouds into the central and southern southeast coast, and a little bit warmer and a little bit more sun up toward north of Juneau to Haines and Skagway. Partly sunny, southern Alaska, isolated thunderstorms over the mountainous terrain of southern Alaska, much more widespread action up over the Brooks Range and up to the eastern North Slope there, with another sunny, very warm to hot day over the central and eastern interior, a little cooler back to the west, but still into the 70s. And rain spreading up into Bristol Bay and along the southwest coast and spreading into southern Kodiak Island as this low tracks eastward there just north of the Fox Islands. So the southeast Bering Sea, Pribilofs on down, pretty cloudy, wet conditions. Lows tonight in the 50s over much of Alaska, mid to upper 40s toward Bristol Bay, near 40 out toward Nunivak Island and up around Gamble, 42 for the Pribilofs. Otherwise lower 40s for the Arctic coast, lows in the 50s for the North Slope, and mid 50s for the Panhandle. Highs tomorrow 85 to 90 for the eastern interior area, especially over the Yukon Flats up into the central North Slope area. Otherwise around 80 for Fairbanks, cooling into the lower 70s out toward Huslia, and 60s as you get out toward Norton Sound. 50s for Nome, and 60 to 65 for Bristol Bay, 65 to 75 south central Alaska, 75 to 80 in the Copper River Basin, and 60s to lower 70s for the southeast coast. Lows in the 50s over much of interior Alaska, otherwise in the upper 40s, cooler lower 40s out to the west, and mid 30s central Arctic coast. And then for the highs, back to 85 to 90 in the Yukon Flats, upper 70s to mid 80s, central interior, and upper 60s to upper 70s now for the Susitna Valley into the Manuska Valley, Kenai Peninsula inland areas closer to 70 out toward the inlet, mid 60s, near 80 for the Copper River Basin, and 70 to 75 for the northern Panhandle, otherwise 60s down to the south, and the 40s out to the west.